Okay, well, thank you to my new friend, Professor Gao. I'm so happy to be in Beijing. It's my first time, and everyone is so happy and friendly, and we feel very welcome. So thank you very much, and to the Beijing Watercolor Academy is a very nice host. So, okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take, Herman did something a little complicated. I'm going to take a little bit of the easy way out, but not really. We're going to do a very atmospheric landscape from East Texas in the United States. So this is the basic photo that I'm going to use as a reference. There's not much here, but what I'm really looking at is the softness of the background, and we're going to accentuate this building a little bit. It's going to be a very tonal painting, but what attracts me to this is these really nice dark shapes popping off against the very sort of translucent, hazy sky. And another thing that interests me in this is it's a very peaceful kind of scene, but there's movement to it. So I'm going to try to keep the peaceful element of the composition, but I also want to get this feeling of energy. So it's peaceful, but also has some energy, or else it will just be boring. And recently in America, watercolor has become very popular, but a lot of the paintings can't compete with a contemporary art. No, so I'm going to try to bring some, with this movement, it will help it to be a little bit more contemporary than just a sort of dated kind of look to the painting. Okay, so, and you know, the same thing Herman is saying, you need to have a prevision of what you're painting. If you haven't worked it out in your head, when you come to paint, it's just you can't figure it out as you're painting. You need to sort of do the painting in your mind and then come back and do it on the paper. Okay. So a lot of the things Herman said are the same things I do, so I'll just leave. I'll just leave.
所以他那部分他已经讲过了，我就不多说了。
Okay, so with that in mind, I did do a small, I was debating between two different paintings, but since Herman did the boats, I'm going to do a landscape. But this small composition sketch helps me know what to do when I come to a larger scale painting.
而他也做了两部分准备，第一部分船，第二部分这个风景。所以呢，赫尔曼已经做了船，所以他就选择这个风景。这张草图呢，基本上就是他的构图的设想。
So I have a sketch, I have a photo, but this is the only thing that's important. So these are just here as sort of in case I start to lose direction, I can refer back to my sketch. And this is a very loose sketch. I'll just darken it just a little bit so you can kind of see some of the elements that are here. And with this, because also I want to create a feeling of movement, I do have it sort of tilted because I want it to sort of go this way. And I have a friend that calls that the Marshall swoop. It's like my trademark, like my it's this. I like this kind of feeling of.
Your trademark.
But then we'll have this very strong vertical, so it stops us and brings us back into the painting, hopefully. Okay. Okay, and also before I start, I like to select all my brushes because it's one more step where I have to think through the painting and I have to know, okay, I'll do this with this brush, I'll do this with this brush. So it's reinforcing how I'm going to paint it. So I don't want to have to be digging for brushes in the middle of a wash or something.
他就是在他画之前，他准备一下画笔，就是他大概有一个设想，他不用在作画的过程中再去找画笔，所以他基本上大概是设想所有的这个过程需要哪些画笔，他先基本上有一个大概的这个副稿。
Okay. And the main thing that is to establish the background and the foreground. But because it's more humid here and I don't want to wait a long time for the painting to dry, I'm going to basically work all of this soft background before I even come down here because I work wet and wet, but in sections.
而鉴于这块的气候今天比较潮湿，所以它的这个前景和后边的背景是要分开画。所以它的这个虽然它是需要要湿的画法， 所以呢，他先把后边画出来，然后这样的话就是他分区域画。
And I'm going to make the sky just a little bit warmer than what I have in my sketch. So I want this translucent warm sky, and then I'm going to have all these cools in front of it, so you get a nice balance between the warm and the cool colors.
对，它的基本设想就是天空对他来讲是比较暖的，所以它是用稍微透明一些的暖色把天空形成。这样的话呢，在它这个前景和这个背景的两边的部分有一些冷色，所以这样的对比的话，把这个内容突出出来。它基本上设想是这样。
So this painting should go fairly quickly.
这样的话呢，我这张画应该是比较快的。
And I will start to cool it off a little bit as I come down.
就是我越往下画呢，这个越冷。
And I really need to leave the whites on the top of the roofs of these houses.
这个还是一样，就是要把这个白留出来，就是做中景的部分还是要比较小心。
But they don't have to be perfect. Oop. Where'd that blue come from? Okay. So as I progress through the painting, I start very weak and I get thicker and thicker with the pigment. And that instantly helps me to create depth.
就是大家看到了，这个在画画的过程中，颜色是不断加深的，然后这样不断的加深颜色，然后不断的这个拉开这个画面的深度。
Let's test. Okay. So this is going to create just some nice soft trees in the distance. Okay, so now I'm going to start to connect in with a little bit of a sort of yellowy color. A lot of the colors, they're all sort of muted colors. So it's gray of this kind of, I don't use any pure pigment. It's all weird gray mixes. So, but I'm staying within the same. I'm not adding strange colors into what I'm doing because I want to make sure the painting has a feeling of harmony. So with this particular kind of painting, I'm only probably going to use 3 or 4 colors.
这就是一直在强调它调色的过程里边要比较中性灰，就是中性灰色，这个不要太跳色，这样的话呢，整个。
There'll be a whole nother wash that comes in the foreground. This is just to get rid of the white of the paper. This will all be covered over later. And I'm already starting to just put in a little bit of that sort of directional of the ground.
而且一开始铺色的时候不要太仔细，因为后边这部分可能还要全部都要覆盖掉。
Is there a spritzer bottle?
那个喷壶，加点水。
Oh, thanks.
到处都是喷壶。
一 开始有个计划，大家注意啊，就是远处的实际上是灰啊，纯度要低，然后逐渐近处越来越明确，颜色纯度越来越高啊。这里边可以有各种它植物不一样，可能有红、有草地、有蓝、有绿，但是主要是什么？近处的你让它纯度高就给拉过来了。对不对？你看远处纯度低，你看远景那块儿，它是一个灰的，天空那是灰的，是吧？
It looks really dark and warm on there, but it's okay because this is all going to be covered over anyway. We're going to have a very dark. All of this is going to be very dark on top of this light. Okay. I forgot to wash this in. Just put that there. Some of this is still a little damp, so I'll get some soft edges. And I'm just coming back with a little water just to break this up, soften it up. This is still just the very distant background, so it's not super important.
那这个虽然是中景，但是呢还是比较靠后，对他来讲就是尽可能的用湿化法把那个水揉进去，这样的话比较柔和，不要有太硬的笔触。
就只要把房子空出来就可以了啊，房子轮廓线空出来，因为颜色大家注意颜色一定是类似色，千万别跳出来，别老想着那是绿树，就非得画成绿的就坏了啊。
And this will be just a little bit stronger because we're coming up closer now. So as we come up, we're getting a little stronger, a little stronger, a little stronger.
就是它这个树还是分前后，这样的话，这个树比刚才的要靠前一些，所以它就比较壮。所以你可以看到它这个，虽然都用比较近似的颜色，但是还是分得出来。
And while that's wet, we're going to drop a little bit more dark into it. Drop a little bit of dark through here.
先用非常肯定的笔触啊，就是注意力啊，就是大胆的笔触，把这个树的动态化，然后再稍微的再着握一下。
Some dry brush just to connect all this together. I'm going to have to just turn this for 1 second.
对，这是没表，其实应该还是表的好，
不知道他会
对，
不知道。
就是表了要好用的多，有一张表的，但挺不用的。
你没看他说，听说你把那张表了，他马上又拿回上来，我不要表。
对。你问他那个吴宇，你会问他为什么不用表了？表了的好用多了，显然是吧
？While this is still really wet,
好用啊。
we'll start to suggest just a little bit of some architectural detail.
But I don't want it to be too perfect. It's just sort of supposed to be sitting back there. Nothing too strong.
这个画房子的时候，你一定要注意这个，因为这个距离，所以这个结构不要太清晰。
Back there. Oh, forgot about this other house back here. Ooh, too green. This type of painting I really enjoy doing because you're sort of constantly on the edge of disaster. I like rule breaking in watercolor. There's a lot you can really get caught up in what you're supposed to do, and I like to just sort of play and make things happen that aren't necessarily supposed to happen. But it's breaking that structure of using all transparent, or like for this it's a very free way of painting. Just need this stuff to run.
They just asked questions just now.
Oh yeah.
They asked why don't you like the stretched paper?
Oh. So most of my painting is done outside on location.
Right.
And I like to bring the feeling of, when I do studio work, I like it to have the same look as the stuff that I do when I'm plein air painting. It's very easy to tighten up when you get in the studio. So let me do that part first.
Sorry,
So I do a lot of plein air painting, and I like to have the same elements in the studio as I do as when I'm outside. So when you're outside, you don't have time to stretch. You don't have time to wet your paper.
Right.
So I'm very comfortable with the way the sizing is on here. I know how the paper's going to react. So whether I'm painting inside or outside, it's the exact same palette, exact same paper. I know exactly what to expect.
就是刚才高老师问他为什么不裱这个纸，他是刚才我问他这个问题了，他说就是因为他多数时间都是在外边写生，而这写生呢，他虽然也在这个画室里边画，就是他为了统一，就是将来他更熟悉这个在外边这个写生的时候就是这么直接画的这种感觉，因为他在外边没有这个条件去裱每张纸，所以呢，他就说为了将来他这个画室和外边这个是统一的，所以他就不去没有去裱纸。
Does that make sense?
他问你这个解释成立吗？
Is that? Yeah. So it's really just when I go outside painting, I don't have time to stretch the paper. I don't, so it's because the sizing that's on this paper is I like it. I like the way it behaves.
他说就是还是他更就是习惯在外边，他没有时间去裱纸，所以呢，他就习惯了这种画法。
Did that answer the question?
Yeah. I hope I translate that it's okay. Stretching, that means stretching is it's
wetting the paper
wetting
first.
the paper
And then letting it dry.
Yeah.
I don't do that because I like to keep consistency with how I paint.
Okay.
So I like to use the same materials, because I know exactly what to expect with everything.
就是我怕他是理解的问题，所以我又跟他说一遍，我说我们这个裱纸的意思就是把它弄湿了， 重新就是站在这个，他说我理解，他说我还是为了就是一致性，就是我希望能够在外边画的和在画室画的是一致的，他说我更熟悉这种方式。
其实我们有时候出去画，一天你可以多裱几张板子都裱好，对吧？一看都倒过来。
Rather go said, you can stretch them all at home and bring them all.
I know. I'm just not that organized. I'm not. Usually, when I want to go paint, I just get my stuff and go. So it's.
他说我理解，他说就是我这条理性没那么好，就是所以呢，他没处理不了这事。
我知道了，就是说他更习惯于在人的皮肤上画的时候是不平的。
Maybe it's my youth.
No. His explanation is because you do tattoo. on the skin it's not flat. So you're
right. You're used to.
For you it's not difficult.
At least the paper isn't moving. Tattoo clients sometimes move too much.
对，他说做 tattoo 的时候，不光是这个，还会动呢。
Yeah. No, this is great. No one's complaining, So I'm spending a lot of time here, and I love painting in China because of the humidity and the moisture. Where I live in Denver is very dry. It's a very high altitude. So I rush through painting because it dries so fast. But here it's like, it's just so comfortable to paint. You guys are so lucky that you can paint here every day.
他说我在中国画水彩是很享受的，因为这个中国对他来讲还是比较潮湿的，就是这个空气比较潮湿，所以画起来很舒服，又非常干燥，所以他画起来每次都非常紧张，就是那个时间不够。
So I don't want to hear anybody complain about the weather.
所以他说你们在这儿抱怨天气对我来讲没有用。
Although I'm very hot, I'm sweating. My body isn't used to the climate.
他说在他那个家乡比这儿热得多。
Okay, so far so good. We just keep going. I like scratching out little things. Herman uses a credit card. Sometimes I just use my finger. I also sometimes like to come in here and play with stuff. Just create texture. It's fun. It's like finger painting.
靠指纹验证。
啊？
这是靠指纹验证，那个靠口水，别人
也就是说他经常在画画的这一步的过程里边，经常要为了做这个肌理，他经常是要去涂抹一些地方，有时候就是用指甲去抠一些地方，所以就对赫尔曼来说是他是用信用卡，他说我就用指甲。
Sorry.
他听见你说的。
Necessary. Sometimes it's necessary. You can't do this when you tattoo. No spitting, no fingers. Okay, this will start to be our connection to where the trees are here. And just dry brushing some connections.
对用笔的时候就有感觉，笔的速度干湿是不一样，画出来以后就会。
Now, right now, everything looks very pale. I'm sure on the screen it looks very contrasty and pale. The trees that I'm going to put over here are going to be so dark. It's going to be very dark over here. So hopefully that will push everything back. And then when we come to the foreground.
到现在为止，这张画面还是很平淡的，还没有什么特别的重点。所以他说，我现在马上要画的这部分是非常重的一部分，所以这样的话增加了整个画面的动感。
Okay. And these is always nerve-wracking. It always makes me nervous to do poles. Because they get, I want it straight. But I don't want to use a ruler. I want it to have character, but I don't want it to look like a snake in the air. So sometimes I'll come on the side here and I'll practice. And I'll hold it at the very end and just... and then I get nervous. But I'm still, so as far as working wet into wet, this whole section is one shape. So I've been working this whole section as one element of the painting. I'm not painting this house, then painting this house. It's important to, it's going to be one massive shape, and it needs to work. It needs to have unity. So hopefully that's happening.
对，就是刚才他做的这个中景这部分，对他来讲是一个内容，所以他把这个要做成一个整体，
Okay.
所以他当成一个整体来画，不是一部分一部分画。
And just a little bit of dry brush. Like I said, I have friends that will pull out rulers and try and get these perfectly straight lines, and it just makes your painting boring. So hopefully, it just keeping the energy of the whole painting. If I paint all of this loose and then come in with a really perfect pole, it will throw the whole painting off.
就是画直线，它就是说的不要画的太完美。直线画的这个跟画面这个整个的和谐起着非常重要的作用，一定要画的跟这个画面符合，而不是要画的太完美。
Okay. And this stuff will come into play later. I won't put wires in until the very end. They're not important, so I can do that later.
可能还有一些电线的部分，这部分内容暂时先不画，到最后对整个画面的影响可能没有现在这么重要，所以先看后面再画。
And I love this Rubens purple. I don't know, what was it? Lilac? It's
薰衣草紫，
lavender violet, I think. It's beautiful, and I like it. So I'm just gonna, while this is still wet, I'm gonna just put some. They're nonsense marks. They're nothing. But I like watercolors that look like paintings. Like they look like art. And if you do everything too perfect, it starts to look boring. It looks like you're a hobby painter and not. It doesn't have the sophistication. So this stuff is a little bit opaque, but this is still wet, so it's just bringing in some really nice sort of painterly marks that work. It looks really sharp there.
他说他很喜欢这个鲁本斯这个薰衣草紫，所以他现在加了很多，直接就加在这个暗部的部分。这个主要内容呢，并不是为了要增加什么东西，但它对他来讲，是整个画面需要一些这种灰色调的东西，所以在这儿呢，可能单看没有什么内容，但是这些紫色的这个斑点在这上面起到这整个画面。
Around now, and I've got it. This is essentially done, and I'm going to start with this massive tree shape here.